I'm going to work on a project, and look at this little saying that I cut out of one of the fashion magazines that I got at the library on the free library card. Find your magic. Isn't that inspiring? I cut that out. I may or may not use it in this project, but it really fits for this video that I'm going to do. Also, I want to let you know that I am kind of doing a little dedication on this video to a young lady I've never met, but I hear a lot about her. And when her grandmother sees her name, and when she sees her name, I think she'll know who she is. She has inspired this video. Thank you, Kara. This video was inspired by you. So what is this video all about? Kara asks. Find your magic. That's what it's about, sort of. I'm going to talk a little bit at the beginning of the video, and then I'm going to go into the process portion. And when I go into the process portion, I will go into fast forward. That's just the way that I work. This is an art journal that I worked in last year. LooseLeaf Loos'N Up. LooseLeaf Loos'N Up. And I had started doing these alphabets, characters, and I did these with melted crayons. First I drew the character, and then I used my heat gun and I melted crayons in different designs on the different letters. And let me tell you, it was a messy process, but it was very freeing. It was I could let go. I didn't care. And guess what? These pages don't stick. Look, I put gold on this page. This is not crayon. This is my gold screen printing ink, I would think. Gotta have that gold. But most of these are crayon, and I might have put some other ink tints or something in the background, but this is all crayon. This looks like I used my white fine line paint applicator here. It just feels like it. Looks like I did that on these too, and I can feel these. They're very waxy. These pages are not going to stick together. I only got as far as the letter T, and then I stopped because I got sidetracked. But I have other pages in here. Let's see, she would meet all the challenges. I'm not sure where I got her from, but this is crayon. I was testing out my crayons. Kind of looking over this journal, what I did. Now look at this. Look at this mess. But these are pages that I would use as background pages to do these letters on. So I saved them, and I may go back out and use them. I may finish UVWXYZ. And then these are just blank pages. At the beginning, what I want to show you is I have pages in here that I liked when I was doing my LooseLeaf Loos'N Up. I liked this page a lot. And you can see I used my gold, and then I scribbled through it. And I could not throw that away. These are just, maybe not the back so much, but these are pages that were, I thought, that were successful. I love this splattery page. Don't have a whole lot of them, but these are pages. Look how that crayon soaked through to the back. These are pages that I think stand on their own. And then in the next section are pages that I think, yes, these are pages that I may be able to use more for different things. See this one? These are scribbles, let me tell you. This is how, at that time, last year, early last year, I started to loosen up my process. Sometimes when you're doing art, you get very, I don't want to say tight, but especially when you go on YouTube You see all these videos that are, all these art videos. Oh, don't you just love watching them? I do. But sometimes you think you have to do what that artist is doing. And if you can't accomplish it, you go, oh, I'm not doing this. And you try harder and you try harder. And I find myself even getting that way when I draw faces. When I start out my face and I get that basic sketch in there, to be honest with you, if I would stop at that basic sketch, I would have a nice drawing. But I keep working at it. I keep working at it. And it's not that it's tight, but sometimes I do, I admit, overwork it. And it really sometimes turns out not as good as if I would have stopped sooner. And sometimes they turn out beautiful, just like I did not expect. So what is this video about? Well, what I want to do is do a little exercise that will help you find your magic. And this is not going to be anything big and involved. This is just going to be some fun that you could try. If you have a mind to. You don't want to try it, fine. Watch the video if you wish, and see, just see what I do. Sometimes, I don't do it all the time, occasionally I will do this just to loosen up, to do my LooseLeaf Loos'N up. And I'm going to set this aside for now. I have these Blick catalogs. I order from Blick when I am able to. I like their sales, and they send me these little updates to their catalog, and I especially love looking through them. I just enjoy, it's kind of like my old Montgomery Ward's catalog wish book. So they're just, it's just fun to thumb through them. Well, I have 3 of them, so I'm going to use one of them. I just shown you all 3 to let you know that, hey, even though I'm going to work in this one, I still have some more, okay? I haven't completely destroyed them. What I'm going to do is, and what I would encourage you to do, is find a magazine or a catalog, something that has a relative amount of white space. Now, it can have illustrations, and certainly this one has things that just totally inspire me. All these paintbrushes, woo! But there's a lot of white space to work on in here. And it is not huge thick. There are probably about 75 pages in here. So what we're going to do is we're going to loosen up in this catalog. Now I've been going through, and you may have seen some of my previous videos, I've been going through some of my old markers and trying to revive some of them. But I've saved out some that I want to work with today. Most of these, if I chose them correctly, should work as I work on my page. I shouldn't have to sit down and try to force the ink or the media out of the pages. I have orange, blue, red, black, and I have my 2 biggie Stabilo pencils. Now these are water-soluble lead. They're not quite like a watercolor. They're much softer. They kind of have, they have a different texture to them to write on things like metal and glass. So they're not quite a watercolor. They act the same way as a watercolor pencil, but if you could feel this lead and feel the lead of a watercolor pencil, you would be able to tell the difference right away. And I like the biggie ones because I love the big wide marks that they make. And then I can come in, let me just grab a little water here. I can come in later and swish out that color, or if I don't like it, I can, in this case, almost remove it. So what I want you to do is loosen up. And by that, I want you can close your eyes, you can keep your eyes open, you can Just literally scribble. And in this case, I'm going to use markers. On my LooseLeaf Loos'N Up book, in this book, I used mainly melted crayons. I did use some paint and my fine line applicators along the edges here. So the purpose of this is just to get you to not think so much and to get into that feeling that you don't have to do anything right all the time. And we hear this all the time in art journaling. We hear art journaling is my space. It doesn't matter what anybody else thinks. This is my creative world. And that's all true. But sometimes when we're art journaling and when we're creating our art, we try so hard to get a beautiful page. And yes, we want a beautiful page. I mean, this is art after all. But on the other hand, sometimes we try so hard to be somebody that we're not. And that gets into a little bit of don't compare yourself and be yourself. And that's kind of where I'm going here, is to not only be yourself, but free yourself. Free yourself to not try so hard to be something or somebody that you are not. And instead, focus on having fun with your art journal. Focus on creating. So I want to do this to loosen up, to create freely. My focus here is to do something fun on an old book that you don't, well, I care about it, but you don't mind messing up. And you're going to see I'm going to have fun on these pages. Then after I get through, I'm going to go into fast forward and do it. And then when I come back, I'm going to go through these pages that I created, free art, where I loosened up my marks and I just basically had fun. And I'm going to separate it out. You're going to see me tearing this book apart. In one pile, I'm going to put things that I really like. In another pile, I'm going to put things that I like, but I think that I could develop them more. But I'm also going to put in another pile, and I want you to do this. I want you to take the pages that you do not feel are successful. Maybe you've only got one page in each stack. Maybe this whole book is what you've done has discouraged you. I want you to take that book that discouraged you. I want you to tear it up. And I'm going to do this myself. You'll see me do this. I want you to tear it up and I want you to throw it away. Okay? Because I say this at the end of every one of my videos. I will see you on the next page. What that means is once I've torn up what I don't consider successful or what I'm not happy with, I come back and I've got the next page. I've got more pages to work on. I'm not going to let these unsuccessful pages stop me. I want you to tear them up like maybe you would a dirty rag, and I honestly want you to take them to the trash bin, take them to your wastebasket, crumple them up, throw them away. You got this free in the mail. If you're not happy with what you created on it, tear it up, throw it away. But in a sense, that's what we're doing here. We're creating good stuff. We're creating usable stuff. We're going to create things that we can say, this is not working for me. I'm going to tear it up and I'm going to throw it away. Now, we're using advertising or catalogs here. I would think twice before you threw away your art journal. So in that case, you might want to keep it and maybe paint over it or do something like that. But this is just a little exercise to have fun, to loosen up, to get into that mode where you are not bound by what you think you should be doing, but you are breaking those ties and you are loosening those chains that bind you. That's a song someplace. You're breaking those chains, and say, okay, you're scribbling, all right, so what? But you're breaking those chains, those mental chains that says, I have to be this. I want to be this. If I'm not this, then I'm not good. So that's what we're going to do here. I'm going to go into fast forward, and then I'm going to come back.